I move this motion with utmost seriousness and responsibility as a citizen of Nigeria, where I have no alternative but Nigeria. And I think matters of such importance cannot be swept under the carpet, Mr. Speaker. It must be discussed. And whichever way it takes is good for the country, because we are all representing geographical expression, population, and interest, and that is what the polity is all about, Mr. Speaker. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, we have this, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which we all swore to an oath to protect and uphold.
Honorable Betty, can you take your seat?
And as a responsible parliament, we ought really to uphold this and nothing less. I thought I must also bring this debate to the national level for this. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker.
But let us make a statement.
Honorable colleagues, check your microphones, though. Check your microphone. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, Mr. President is the president of everybody in Nigeria, irrespective of party affiliations, geographical expression, religious belief, creed, and everything. He is my president. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to restore his health quickly and come back. We have said it before, and we are saying now. Sir, I think that it's very, very important that a president of law and order, president of rule of law, president of sanctimonious Nigeria, as we have started changing Nigeria to the focus of development and progress, and to find our place in the Committee of Nations of the modern globalized world, we should follow the rule of the game and follow all the best practices that will bear Nigeria from the trough we are up to the height where we ought to be by year 2020 and then 20. Mr. Speaker, the simple thing is that a letter be transmitted, and that has an effect of, calming the nerves, the frail nerves, cooling the overheating of the polity, giving us the certainty of responsibility and focus to move us and integrate the nation to move forward. Doing otherwise, Mr. Speaker, not taking this constitutional provision and trying to bring all other means and ways to justify this oblivion, this state of tantrum, this state of uncertainty is not good for us, and that's one of the reasons why I brought. Sir, I have the court judgment. I have studied it, I read it. There is no reinventing the wheel. It has just stated the obvious. At the end of it all, it is still within the circumscription of the Constitution, nothing new. If a permanent secretary is traveling, he also delegates his responsibility to the most senior director. In the armed forces, it's like that, in the police, in civil society, and everywhere. So this is obvious. Section 5.1 has told us this issue of delegation. But, sir, within the discourse of this particular judgment, I may beg your leave to read just one paragraph. It says, whether by the combined provisions of Section 5.1 and 148.1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, the Vice President can exercise the executive powers vested in the President in the absence of the President, having regard to the circumstances of this suit. That's the suit that was before the court. Sir, I am a lay person by all consideration. I've never studied law except those in the courses that one does, which is land law, planning law, and so on. But certainly, I am not claiming anything, but as a use of English, the use of shall and the use of can presupposes two things. To me, we are transferring the discretion to the Vice President. If he feels he cannot exercise certain powers, he stays, however important they are, to move the country forward and to keep us integrated and make progress. That there really bothered me. And I thought that the only answer to this is for him to be acting where the shall factor will be on him to serve Nigeria diligently in all its ramifications and considerations. And that is why I said that this court order, having stated the obvious, did not lift us up to the level of the Constitution. And that section 145 is sacrosanct, and I thought and I think any well-meaning Nigerians will definitely want it to be upheld and implemented. So, second to my final point, sir, is that those people who are thinking that by the president transmitting this letter is like he is sitting off power with all the divisive, oblivious, obstinate, and other considerations that are making people to be agitated and anxious in this country, I think they are wrong. Because if you read the section properly, you will see that it needs not any debate. Once it's transmitted, this one has the full power as an enacting position to do everything for the country. And there is no personal discretion, which why we elected the president to be our president. Secondly, sir, by doing that, inshallah, the moment the president is back and he notifies the National Assembly of his return, without debate, without any consideration, he is back onto his seat. I think this is good for the president himself. It's good for the government. It's good for the governed. It's good for our image. It's good for best practices. And finally, I want to seek the indulgence of Mr. Speaker because of the import of this motion being a matter of very, very national importance, to allow each and every individual shades of interest to come to bear so that the right decision is taken here. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Speaker, honorable colleagues, order.
This is about the third time, Mr. Speaker, you are recognizing me. I'm proud to have you as my speaker. I'm also proud as a Nigerian and as a member of this
Which order, Honorable Dickson?
Privileges. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, before we go into the full debate,
we've already in the full debate.
Order 5 privileges.
Okay.
I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, if I'm wrong, you rule me out of order, please. What I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, is that it is firstly the right of every member, considering the importance of the motion moved by Honorable Abdul Sami, a great Nigerian on this floor, to contribute and vote. And Mr. Speaker, may I suggest, therefore, that we need not rush this motion today.
I'm not rushing.
Let every member, yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for speaking so well. We are proud to have you. Can we have a system whereby we define the ground rules in accordance with the handbook and the Constitution, which gives every member the privilege to be heard if he or she wishes to say something right or wrong? The majority, as usual, will have their way.
All right.
The minority, they say. And Mr. Speaker, rule on it, sir.
Honorable Dickson.
To defend of December 27th and Tuesday, January 28th, and caption, "You can't lead us into a coup, military ships." Mr. Speaker, this being a security matter, I would like us to commend the defense chiefs for their loyalty and fidelity to the Constitution and defense of the order, and perhaps to refer this matter to appropriate committees for them to interact with these gentlemen and others who are in that area. By that, I mean the committees on defense and national security and intelligence, perhaps even in a closed session, and army, yeah. so that they can look at it. Mr. Speaker, I've reasoned this with your kind permission because as a parliament, as Democrats who have sworn to uphold and defend the constitution of this great country, we cannot see things like this and then say nothing and do nothing like Humpty Dumpty. So, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, as a matter of urgent national importance that I believe and submit it is, and then it being a security issue, refer it to appropriate committees of the House for us to be guided. Mr. Speaker, I move. Thank you. Once again, the Honorable Henry Seriake Dickson, representing Sagbama Ikedemo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to propose that this House do receive the report of Justice Committee on a bill for an act to amend the Legal Aid Act, Cap 9, Laws of the Federation, and for other related matters. I so move.
On African Parliamentary Union APU, that is the 54th session of the Executive Committee in
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for recognizing me. I'm raising a point of order arising from Order 5 and Order 8. One dealing with personal explanation and the other raising a matter of privilege. With your kind permission and by your leave, may I proceed? Thank you.
Could you please proceed to the chair first?
Okay. Right, honorable colleagues, I'm most grateful for this opportunity to make a personal explanation in accordance with the rules of this House and also raise what appears to be an infraction on my privilege and on the privilege of this House. Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, I'm aware that most of us, before coming, were involved in several other things that are honorable. We all have a very distinguished, most of us, all of us, have very distinguished backgrounds before coming here. And I am not an exception. Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, as you may already be aware, before my election to this chamber, I was, for a time, the Honorable Attorney General of my state. And there are efforts aimed at tarnishing my records and my image in connection with acts and deeds of my humble self as Attorney General of the state. Let me say that I had to resign on the 1st of September 2006 as Attorney General of Bayelsa State in accordance with and in compliance with the guidelines of our party that said anybody who wanted to contest an elective office in an executive position should resign 30 days to the date of primaries. And I intended to run for the National Assembly, and so I resigned. Effective 1st of September 2006. Mr. Speaker, while in office and in accordance with the vision of the government that I serve, the Ministry of Justice under my leadership embarked on several reform projects of the justice sector, that is, which are well known to the legal community in the state and the general public. I don't intend to bore you with what I consider to be my humble contributions in that office. But suffice it to say that these reforms have made the dispensation of justice in the state relatively easier than I met it. Now, one of the key areas of the reform program had to do with capacity building in the ministry for enhanced service delivery, and that had to do with the library project. Accordingly, at my proposal, Mr. Speaker and honorable colleagues, the state government approved and awarded a contract for the supply of an equipment of a library, a modern library, to the tune of 150 million naira. I met a library that was just about 10 by 10 in size, with very few books. And because we were thinking of a first-class ministry, and coupled with the fact that the governor at the time had graciously approved my recommendation to employ 33 new lawyers, which I supervised and concluded, we needed to increase the infrastructure. And for us lawyers, and all of us know that library is the tool of lawyers. And so the governor and the executive council graciously approved a contract. All of us know here that no commissioner can, on his own or her own, approve a contract to that tune, 150 million. I don't know if ministers now can do that, but I have my doubts. Now, that contract was awarded to a contractor, and because of the physical infrastructural deficiencies that I had earlier alluded to, i.e. the lack of, an adequate library, building to accommodate it, I thought that the first thing to address was to enhance the library, the building itself. And so we started that. Meanwhile, no monies were released to the ministry, nor any
Honorable
payment.
Dickson.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm coming to the point.
Honorable Dickson, please.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
This is not a trial court. You have made your personal explanation. Can you just get to the point so we can get over this?
The point I'm coming to, Mr. Speaker, is that I think it's appropriate in view of the campaign of calumny against my person in the papers for me to put the facts straight, which is that no monies were released by the government to the ministry while I was there.
Honorable Dickson. Honorable Dickson.
Yes.
By God's grace,
Yes.
we have a leadership in this house.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
By God's grace, I am the Speaker of this house.
Yes.
I have no communication whatsoever about this issue from any quarters about the member of the House of Representatives which I preside over. Until that is done, there is no reason whatsoever for anyone to accuse any of the members in this house of any impropriety. Until I am informed about that, I will not allow you to proceed on this issue anymore.
Well, if Mr. Speaker says so, yes.
I have ruled.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.